I told you guys I had some leftover news and that you might be getting an off-the-script extra on this Sunday. And that's exactly what you're getting today. Off the Script ended yesterday with episode 229, part number 2, because there wasn't that many major stories to make into one full-fledged podcast. So what I'm doing for you guys today is I'm giving you a Sunday extra of Off the Script, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I got some decent stories for you. One on Rusev, one on Drew McIntyre, one on Bill Goldberg, who apparently is lobbying for a match at WrestleMania 35. We're going to go over all that today right here on Off the Script Extra. Please make sure you guys follow me on social media at JDFROMNY206. And please hit that subscribe button down below as we are nearing 94,000 subscribers right here on YouTube.com. Major update regarding Rusev and the WWE, his future after Extreme Rules. At Extreme Rules, Rusev will finally have a WWE Championship match against AJ Styles, as we all know, at Extreme Rules, possibly in the main event. I'd say so if I was booking it in the main event, but if you guys listened to Off the Script this past weekend, Lashley and Roman Reigns is going to be main eventing Extreme Rules. It's highly unlikely that Rusev is going to win the WWE Championship from AJ Styles, but he has a golden opportunity to elevate his status as a major player within the company. However, there are some other problems in his way. There have been some reports of WWE officials being unwilling to push him because of his contract expiring soon. This is a very similar situation to the one that is going on with Daniel Bryan right now. That explains a lot right now as it concerns Rusev, because of how red hot Rusev Day was for almost a year, and WWE has not done anything about it. However, it's been reported by Dirty Sheets that Rusev right now is negotiating with the WWE to extend his contract with the company. The report from Dirty Sheets claims that Rusev's current deal pays him $350,000 a year with pay-per-view bonuses and merchandise bonuses. After 4 great years on the main roster and after the success of Rusev Day, he's looking for a raise of $500,000 a year with business class travel included. Apparently, Lana is also negotiating a new contract extension, but the details for Lana have been very scarce. These events are not likely to change the plans for Rusev versus Styles at Extreme Rules, but a new deal would kill the argument that WWE officials are not pushing him because he could leave the company soon. After Extreme Rules, the Bulgarian Brute should have a much larger role in WWE on television, and a WWE title reign could potentially be in the cards down the line if he's given the chance to play a babyface after gaining this much momentum with Rusev Day. This is great news. This is absolutely great news for Rusev. WWE doesn't want Rusev at the height of his popularity. Same thing with Daniel Bryan, but it's a little bit more straightforward with Daniel Bryan. WWE does not want Rusev, with his growing popularity at the height of his career right now, to go anywhere else and feed off of that momentum, making another company, competitive against WWE. They don't want to do that. Now, obviously, he wouldn't be able to take the Rusev name and the Rusev Day gimmick because that's all copyrighted by WWE, but he's a former WWE United States champion. He, on multiple occasions, he's a well-known superstar in and around WWE, one of the more popular superstars on the roster, period. They don't want any of that going to a rival promotion, making that rival promotion better, and just giving more of a WWE sense of a headache. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. If he's asking for a raise, clearly he's done everything in his power to make sure that he can get a raise. He's not bad in the ring. He's got great charisma. He's got a great personality. He's got Lana by his side. The guy has fucking blooming potential that we haven't even seen yet. WWE hasn't even tapped into that. So a raise of $350,000 to $500,000 plus pay-per-view and merchandise bonus, for whatever Rusev's done, it seems like chump change. to what WWE is doing right now. To keep him on the roster, it's absolutely worth that price of admission. Rusev Day is going to continue to be big for WWE. Why not keep this guy on the roster and make him happy? You know, give this guy an opportunity to shine where you have not given him that opportunity yet. You might be surprised at what he could do for this company. I think it's a great deal. I think Rusev's going to end up staying with the WWE. I don't see why he would not. If they're going to offer him $500,000, business class travel, and a potential to be a major player down the line. He's still very young. If he signs a short 2-3 year deal, stays with the company, he'll still be in the height of his career. And if he wants to venture off and do something else and go to another rival promotion to see what he can do there, then so be it. I don't think leaving the WWE right now would be a big business move for Rusev and Rusev Day. I still see him staying with the company after this contract is over with. WWE officials working possibly on long-term plans for Dr. Shelby. God, I hope fucking not. Back in 2012, WWE officials stumbled into a fun angle that not only created Team Hell No, but also the Dr. Shelby character that sold the bizarre storyline just as well as Kane or Daniel Bryan. After quite some time away from WWE television, Dr. Shelby made his return to WWE for another counseling session with Bayley and Sasha Banks, which I don't think it's going to work too well for these two women because this is so beneath them, it's not even fucking funny. Unfortunately, the WWE Universe did not respond to the Bayley-Sasha Banks-Shelby dynamic as strongly as it was for Kane and Daniel Bryan. That's to be expected for a number of reasons. A, it's beneath, like I said, Sasha Banks and Bayley. B, people are very invested in Sasha Banks and Bayley and the storyline that could be with these two women based on their history in NXT. And the fact that WWE is ruining it and making it a fucking comedy session, whereas the earlier session with Bayley and Sasha Banks in NXT was very serious. It was one of championship gold. It was one of a storyline that pretty much got across which woman is better than the other woman. You know? Now it's nothing but a fucking comedy skit on Monday Night Raw. But Monday Night Raw is a fucking comedy show. It ain't a wrestling show, so I'm not surprised by these happenings at all. Nobody's taking to it. That's to be expected. But it seems there is enough for WWE officials to embrace the angle and keep it going. According to reports, Dr. Shelby could be sticking around WWE television for a bit. The report claims that Vince McMahon is likely to be a huge fan of the character, and the therapy segment on Raw ended with a to-be-continued tease, so there's clearly more to come next week. WWE has also officially filed for the Dr. Shelby trademark, and the WWE Universe needs to keep an eye out for some new merchandise surrounding the Dr. Shelby character. Unfortunately, WWE officials can't organically recreate the chemistry between Kane, Daniel Bryan, and Dr. Shelby with Sasha Banks and Bayley. However, the WWE Universe should consider giving the Bayley and Sasha Banks therapy sessions one more week at least to see where they go with it. The kind of odd chemistry needed to pull off an angle like this takes time to develop, and the trio just started working together for 1 week. The WWE Universe also has a much different opinion on Bayley and Sasha Banks, being that this has been a long time coming and everybody is in the same boat thinking that WWE could do so much better with what they are doing with both women. Obviously, the Dr. Shelby idea is out of left field, but it could work if the three performers put in the time to make it entertaining. What do you guys think about Dr. Shelby? I'm over it after week 1, to be honest with you. Meanwhile, you got Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax running around with the Raw Women's Championship situation. Meanwhile, we all know and are all in agreement that Bayley and Sasha Banks should be the women's feud for the title right now on Monday Night Raw. It should have been coming out of the Elimination Chamber. It should have been going into WrestleMania, and it still should be with a culmination of sorts at SummerSlam, taking a page out of what they did and created in Brooklyn several years ago. This is a fucking joke compared to whatever NXT was doing with Bayley and Sasha Banks. I told you guys on my Monday Night Raw review, the reaction of Sasha Banks laughing was not one of humor. And not one of, oh, hey, it's Dr. Shelby. I used to love this with Kane and Daniel Bryan. It was one of, I don't believe I'm doing this. Meanwhile, I'm one of the best female performers on the entire roster. I don't believe I have to sit down and smile with a fake smile with Dr. fucking Shelby and Bayley when we should be fighting for the Raw Women's Championship. Bullshit. Absolutely bullshit. Speaking of Vince McMahon, not only is he a fan of Dr. Shelby, he is a huge fan of Drew McIntyre. What does Vince McMahon have planned for Drew McIntyre following SummerSlam? After WrestleMania 34, one of the most interesting ideas on Raw was the duo of Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. Their chemistry is a pleasant surprise, and both men have worked very well together on Raw for the last 3 months. However, fans of the WWE product are wise to this kind of storyline and are pretty much waiting right now for the predictable outcome of Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre having a rivalry instead of a partnership. McIntyre and Ziggler, one-on-one, is only a matter of time, especially if WWE officials are planning to have Dolph drop the IC title to Drew down the line. However, a lot of people are wondering if McIntyre holding the IC title for a while at all is the right plan for him. According to the Wrestling Observer, that is not the case at all. WWE officials are planning a feud between McIntyre and Ziggler, but for the purpose that will catapult Dolph Ziggler into a baby face role. Both will be main event guys. Dolph will be babyface, while McIntyre right now is working with Reigns and Rollins. He is right now being groomed and tested for a big heel run, competing against them for the much larger prize whenever the Universal Championship is back on Monday Night Raw. There is no question that Drew McIntyre's momentum is building because WWE fans are just waiting for him to double-cross Ziggler at some point and move on to the Universal Championship title picture. If WWE is smart in their booking, the angle could result in a nice babyface turn for Dolph and a monster heel run for Drew McIntyre. On paper, you would assume their split will happen shortly after SummerSlam, unless something major changes with WWE's creative plans. I like that. I'm all for that. Dolph, I think, is a better heel, but out of the two, right now, the way Drew McIntyre is operating as a heel, I want him to remain as a heel. I don't think when he was in NXT, he was incredibly over as a babyface. Drew has more heel-like tendencies than he does babyface tendencies. And when this guy cuts a promo, I see 100% heel coming out of Drew McIntyre. Ziggler, I find to be a nice mix of a heel Shawn Michaels and a heel Mr. Perfect. But if I'm choosing one of the two to be a heel, it's definitely going to be Drew McIntyre. I don't mind Dolph Ziggler being a babyface that goes in there and he's built on work rate alone. That's the way Dolph Ziggler operates. So I'm excited to see where these two go. I just don't want Dolph Ziggler to be delegated to the mid-card, and he's mid-card for life after signing a new WWE deal, if indeed he does sign. Again, we don't know what his contract status is. But I want both of these guys to come out looking strong, just not McIntyre. Ziggler has all the talent in the world to be the Seth Rollins of Monday Night Raw. You can have another guy just as good as Rollins in Dolph Ziggler on Monday Night Raw doing the same exact thing, work rate, body of work in the ring, giving you great matches from a pro wrestling aspect. I don't want Ziggler to flounder. I don't want Ziggler delegated to fucking superstars or main event or whatever the fuck they got going on. Dark matches. No. He is way too good for that. So I hope both of these guys come out looking great. McIntyre comes out being a much better heel, and Ziggler can be the one that we develop sympathy for as time goes on when that turn, that double cross, comes into effect. I'm very excited to see where both guys end up on Monday Night Raw. We're going to end with this, guys. We're going to end with this. I'm going to fuck the Goldberg news. The Goldberg news is really nothing of substantial information. He wants either Roman Reigns or The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Bill, stick to your fucking muscle cars, bro. We don't want you at WrestleMania. We don't want you in the ring versus The Undertaker. We don't want you in the ring with Roman Reigns. I am not sold on whose spear is better. I don't give a single fuck. So what I'm going to talk about is something that just hit my news desk right now. Came across my Twitter feed. Here it is. There is a rumor right now that a unique gimmick match is being planned for Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. Now, I don't know what this is. This is the first time that I'm looking at this. First time for you and I. Let's go over it. At this point, there is so much speculation surrounding Brock Lesnar's WWE status that any further discussion would just be adding another log to the fire. It does not seem that Bobby Lashley will face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam like most fans thought when he returned to the company. They are probably reserving that for the sympathetic figure in Roman Reigns. However, their match is likely to happen eventually. So what does this mean? Is Lesnar staying with the company, or is Lesnar going to the UFC? WWE officials could book Lashley versus Lesnar for the Survivor Series if the rumors are true that Brock is leaving WWE after SummerSlam. Whether it's in November or at another time, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer had an interesting idea regarding a possible match between Lashley and Lesnar. Might as well fucking call him Leslie. He's that fucking irrelevant to me. Lashley and Lesnar. On paper, they could fight inside a WWE octagon. It's just an idea, given that Brock is heavily rumored to return to the UFC, and Lashley does have a history in MMA. WWE's version of the octagon could create an exciting dynamic, but there are far too many problems for that kind of gimmick to work in the WWE. For starters, Brock Lesnar is expected to fight in the UFC again. So if WWE is going to give us a UFC-style match with Lesnar, and they're going to go the traditional UFC route, which is, it's not scripted. It may very well be. Who the fuck knows nowadays with sports? But I'm going to go based on the assumption that it's not scripted. You're going to have Lashley and Lesnar, I can't even speak right now. Lashley and Lesnar go into an MMA-style fight in WWE. What if Brock Lesnar loses? What if Brock Lesnar loses to Bobby Lashley in this UFC-style WWE fight, and then he wants to go fight for the UFC for real on their platform at their pay-per-views? It's not going to be very beneficial for Brock Lesnar to walk into the UFC with a loss in an MMA-style fight against Bobby Lashley. That would be ludicrous. That would be completely damaging to Brock Lesnar and the amount of money that he could potentially make for the UFC. Because I know if I'm Dana White, I'm not signing Brock Lesnar for a match if he's coming in losing already in an MMA-style match. It's fucking ridiculous. That would be absolutely ludicrous. Now, if this does happen, on paper, it seems like it's an idea that Lesnar would probably turn down for monetary reasons, I think. Especially if Brock is going to put him over on the way out of the company. Why would he lose in such a fashion in such a match before returning to the UFC for real? Having said that, the concept of Brock Lesnar fighting inside an MMA cage for the WWE would create a very interesting atmosphere. In particular, the WWE Universe would be excited to see Lashley versus Lesnar be presented in such a fashion, especially if Lesnar was to be defeated by Bobby Lashley in that type of atmosphere. Meltzer was tossing out the idea, but it's something WWE could actually do. Now, WWE, it wouldn't be the first time that they did this or visited this type of idea. I don't remember who it was against, but WWE did have, during the Attitude Era, a Lion's Den match, I believe. It was with Owen Hart and Ken Shamrock. Now, they could certainly do that, but I honestly don't think if WWE wants to revisit that style of fight, that Lesnar's going to be for that. I would rather Lesnar and Lashley in a traditional wrestling match with MMA style feel to it. You know, give it a WWE production, have it be somewhat of a worked shoot, and go that route and have Lesnar put over Lashley on his way out, if that's what they want to do. If WWE is going to go the full route of an MMA style cage, you know, it's not going to look good for Lesnar on his way back to the UFC to fight in the real cage on pay-per-view for Dana White. It's not going to be good. That's going to be a detriment onto how much money he makes and his reputation. That's just the way I see it. So if WWE wants to do this, they want Lesnar to drop the title at SummerSlam to whomever it is. I don't really give a fuck at this point. And then they want to sign him for a one-match deal at Survivor Series. I'm all for that. And then from here on out, No more Lesnar title reigns. No more Lesnar championship runs. No more. It's over. I don't want to see him carrying around another championship ever again. You bring Brock Lesnar for these big time fights. If you want to book him against whomever from here on out, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, I'm okay with seeing Lesnar once, twice, 3 times a year if it doesn't involve a championship title. Simple as that. So I'm done with that. I think that's a better idea than putting these guys in an MMA-style cage on WWE pay-per-view. It's not going to be good for Brock Lesnar in the end. Have him put over Lashley in a work-shoot WWE fight, just like they did with Randy Orton. Something like that. If Brock Lesnar wants to lay down for Lashley and do the deed, do the honor, I'm fine with that. And then he can go do his thing in UFC, and I'll support him over there as he fights his way up back to a UFC heavyweight championship. I'm done with that. That just hit my news desk. Now, that's not legit news. That's just Meltzer talking out his ass. I don't think WWE's going to go that route. I don't think WWE's going to put themselves in a position to do that. There's just too many risks involved, and you know how WWE is. They're not going to take a chance on that. Again, a work-shoot style match in similar fashion to what we've seen with Randy Orton a couple of years ago at SummerSlam. That's just the way I'm thinking about that. And let me know what you guys think about that down below. I'm getting out of here, man. Just enough to finish off the weekend here for an off-the-script extra. Those are your big stories. Thank you all so very much. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. And please make sure you guys support any way you can, man. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript for your t-shirts. Harrys.com/script for your free trial shave set. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. And please make sure you guys look in the comment section down below, pinned at the very top. RSVP for my Extreme Rules Shane Douglas live off the script special in Pittsburgh this coming Sunday. Please RSVP and check out the 2 great causes right now that I am fully supporting. One with Brian Gulish and the Ovarian Cancer Research Fund, and then with my buddy Rusty for his Bike for MS Tour 2018. Thank you guys so very much for everything. If you missed Off the Script this past weekend, everything you need is linked in the annotation in the top right corner, and I will see you guys for Monday Night Raw for the go-home show for Extreme Rules. Have a great Sunday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for really awful wrestling. I'll talk to you guys later.